Welcome to the Viking Age podcast. It's the official podcast of thevikingage.com. My name is Chris Schad. I write for Fansided and Zone Coverage. He is Adam Patrick, managing editor for the Viking Age. We do this every Monday with a late week episode right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. We're also in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day. But however you consume us, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode and we can spread the word to the masses. Now, quick little production meeting here before we start. You might be like, where were you guys on Monday? Well, I started my new job at the Fansided Regional Network, so you can check out all my work there, even though I do have to write some Packer articles now and some Bear articles and Lion. I write about every team in the NFC North except for the Vikings now, which is kind of ass backwards because I have a Viking podcast. But of course, Adam, I owe you a congratulations because you are now a lead NFL writer for Fansided. So congratulations. If I had an applause soundbar, I would hit it right now.
Thank you. Yeah.
There are a lot of people are clapping.
It's been a fun week for the co-hosts of this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, fun as far as like my brain is on fire right now. We're doing this late on a Friday night.
Vikings didn't lose. No one got arrested, so it's good.
The Vikings didn't lose. There's little details we're not going to get into, like the fact they didn't play, but they didn't lose. So there is that. So today's show, it is prediction time, not for the Super Bowl because the Vikings aren't allowed to play in that game, as you may know. We're going to make a couple of bold predictions for the Vikings offseason. We're both going to make two. We'll see where this thing is headed this offseason because it's a very important offseason. And then the part we really want to do is talk about the Royal Rumble because it's this weekend in Indianapolis. But we're going to hold back. Like we said, we're not going to go off the rails yet. We're going to wait until the end of the episode. But you can go ahead and check it out. So bold predictions for the Vikings offseason. Do you want to do this kind of how we do overreactions?
Yeah,
like you want to defer, receive? Yeah. What do you want to do? You want to start this thing off hot?
Well, I think I noticed that we both did not do one about Darnold, so I didn't know if you wanted to do like just real quick. Do you think Darnold is coming back? Is because we probably both don't think he's coming back? Is that not a bold prediction?
Yeah, I think it would be more bold at this point
if he did come back.
Start there. Because I don't know. I'm trying not to get Darnold fatigue like we got with Kirk Cousins. Because it's not as polarizing of a discussion for me. Like if he comes back, he comes back. I'm totally okay with it. He's 28 years old. He's not coming off a torn Achilles, and he was pretty damn good outside of the last two games last year. So if the Vikings look at JJ McCarthy and they're like, hey, we still believe in you, but you haven't had an on-field rep since, the preseason. Yeah. Let's give you a year. You can compete for the job. If you beat out Sam Darnold, that's fine. But I don't think he comes back unless like he's crazy and he takes a discount deal again, which fire your fucking agent if that's the case, because there are going to be a lot of teams who are going to throw a lot of money at him. So I think there's a market. I think you could tag and trade him. I think you could even work out a deal at the NFL Combine because the NFL draft class is not strong. I'm not a big believer in Shedeur Sanders. I'm not a big believer in Cam Ward. I know I wrote something at Factory of Sadness this week where Jordan Palmer was saying that the Browns should take Jalen Milroe at number 2 because he reminds him of Lamar Jackson.
I don't think he's that good.
No, he's not that good.
He didn't win the Heisman, did he?
No. And there's another thing I could say about this, but I mean, I don't know. What is he going to do? Compare his client to EJ Manuel instead? Like, hey, he's got some good qualities, and he went in the first round. Like, you remember him? Yeah, he sucked.
Christian Ponder went.
Christian Ponder.
Yeah,
he's smart.
I think it would be dumb for Darnold to not go to another place because he could. Like, this could be his only chance. Literally, his only chance in his NFL career to cash in. Like, he has a chance to earn as much money as he possibly can this year. And I know other people, oh, well, what he wants to win a championship, blah, 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 blah. Okay, 31 teams every year go home disappointed they didn't win the Super Bowl. Like, your chance of winning the Super Bowl is pretty low. Everyone shoots for it, but it's pretty low. So if you're going to, Kirk Cousins, say what you will about him, but he has made the most of his time in the NFL, making as much money as possible. I believe he's made more than maybe 4 or 5 players in the entire NFL. Kirk
I
Cousins,
think
with
he's
his
top 5.
with his one playoff win, he's made that much money. So Darnold, take a less. If the Vikings want to franchise him, whatever, that's their decision. If that would probably make me think there's some concerns about JJ McCarthy, just not being ready this year. But from everything we've heard, McCarthy's been dialed in, like, attacking his rehab. He's been, a sponge in the meeting rooms and all that stuff, all those, cliches. So I fully expect the Vikings to transition to McCarthy this year, especially because I think they want to spend a bunch of money in free agency and not have half of it tied up to a quarterback like it was the first 2 years of this regime. So I think Darnold will go. I think the Raiders are intriguing with Pete Carroll there and working with Geno Smith. I know there's the Russell Wilson connection there with the Raiders, but just I don't know. I don't think Russell Wilson is like, I don't think he's good. Like, I don't think he hasn't been good since he was with the Seahawks, I feel like. And then the Steelers are intriguing, but it sounds like they might want Justin Fields to be their quarterback, even though they benched him for no reason in the middle of the year this year. I think the Rams are out of the question now because I think it sounds like Stafford's coming back. I don't think he'll go to the Titans. They have the money to pay him, but it just doesn't seem like I feel like Darnold's going to be careful where he goes. He's not going to go back to the Jets. I've seen some predictions for that. He is not going back to the Jets. The Giants, maybe, because they have some intriguing young weapons with Malik Neighbors and some other players, and I think Dable would be able to get the most out of Darnold. But yeah, I think Darnold would be dumb to not go elsewhere because, yeah, like you said, if he's not playing well next year in the middle of the year, what's going to stop the Vikings from benching him and playing McCarthy? Then Darnold is going to be a backup for the rest of his career. So, take advantage of this opportunity, make as much money as you can. And I don't even think the NFLPA would let him take a reduced payment from the Vikings or whatever, because it would just throw everything off. So I expect him to be elsewhere next year, regardless of what Tom Pelissero says, where it makes the most sense for Darnold to return to the Vikings next year. I'm like, okay, you work for the NFL, so you're
Here's his agent.
you're connected to. No, I think it's the Vikings. I think they're trying to keep his trade value as high as possible. So there is a possibility of still franchising him and tagging him. They're like, oh, we might want him, so you might, if you want him, you might have to trade for him. Where today, what Dan Graziano came out, and I would assume he's more in tune with what the agents are talking about. And he's like, yeah, I would be very surprised if Darnold was back because he just thinks he's gonna cost too much for the Vikings to make that commitment, and I think that's gonna be the case too.
3 for 120 is what I saw scrolling the internet quickly today.
Yeah, Spotrac has 4 for 160, I think.
Yeah, it's the Baker Mayfield deal plus inflation.
Yeah, you got to account for the cap increase and stuff.
And the other thing is too, I think the new thing is people are like, well, JJ McCarthy, he's too skinny right now. He can't build up. Okay. The NFL has strength coaches for this stuff. They have plans to build muscle. That dude's going to be eating nothing but peanut butter and cottage cheese until whatever. Speaking of peanut butter.
Do we think Darrisaw's in incredible shape right now?
He's probably a little,
I don't think so.
Little lean himself.
I don't think so. Lean or more, just sitting around, just eating all day.
Speaking of which, do you think Dan Orlovsky is that picky with
I
food?
I didn't watch that video, but so I know he's weird about food.
So for those of you who don't know, Dan Orlovsky, ESPN analyst, actually very good at his job.
Yeah.
But he's just like
Darnold Truther.
He has serial killer food vibes.
Oh, yeah.
He won't eat anything seasoned. Like he's into
He's
like
like
hard
bland
boiled
chicken.
eggs and bland chicken and hard boiled eggs.
Yeah.
And there was a video of him at the Senior Bowl, and he's got like a Reese's peanut butter cup, and he's biting the chocolate off of the peanut butter cup and spitting out the chocolate so he can eat the peanut butter in the Reese's. It's just like,
I think he views eating as more of like a nuisance and like and like just a duty of the human body rather than like enjoying it.
yeah. I don't know.
It's a sad life, I guess.
I think I'd rather enjoy a cheeseburger in my
He'd
life.
rather sit and like watch 9 hours of Baker Mayfield film than go to, I don't know, Olive Garden for a feast.
It's interesting. I would love some Olive Garden. That
Good
sounds
stuff.
like the bomb. Yeah. I mean, it's been a while. Okay. Rest of our bold predictions. Enough Sam Darnold talk.
Yep.
You want to defer or receive?
I'll receive.
Okay.
All right, I'll start this off. I don't know if this is I'll say it's bold because I think some people think it's just like an
It's got to be
automatic.
bold for the internet.
I think it's just some people think it's automatic that this dude's coming back, but I don't think so. I don't think Cam Bynum's coming back to the Vikings next year. Cam Bynum is a free agent this offseason. He spent the last 3 seasons as a starting safety with the Vikings after getting drafted in the 4th round in 2021. He's a great locker room guy, and he clearly likes to have fun with his celebrations. But recently, Spotrac, which I just learned is pronounced Spotrac, not Spotrac, because I looked it up on their official podcast. It is Spotrac. Gave Bynum a projected market value worth $17.7 million a year. So landing a contract like that would make him the 5th highest paid safety in the NFL based on average annual salary. So during his time with the Vikings, I would say he's been an above average safety, but has he been the 5th best safety in the league? I don't think so. So last season, his PFF defensive grade ranked 63rd out of 98 qualifying safeties. His 2023 grade did rank 21st, but in 2022 it ranked 68th. So it seems like he's more of just a league average safety, maybe a little bit better than one who deserves to be among the highest paid. So if Harrison Smith decides to retire, though, I think Minnesota might be more interested in bringing Bynum back. But I still think they might try and do something like the transition tag, since that would only cost them, I think, $14 million next year to bring him back. And I think with Brian Flores coming back for another season, I think Harrison Smith's probably coming back for another season. So I think it'll be Smith, Metellus, and either Theo Jackson or another affordable veteran as the Vikings' top 3 safeties next year. I don't think Bynum is coming back.
And I don't think he's a very smart player. And like you mentioned, great locker room guy.
Yeah.
Wonder who will organize the celebrate. Maybe that'll be on Metellus now to kind of figure it out. But you do have Metellus, who's kind of a jacket. I don't know. You could call him a safety. You could call him not. A lot of people have been high on Theo Jackson for the past couple of years. And these new front offices, I mean, there were no favors done to the Vikings in the last free agent cycle because Xavier McKinney got a big deal. Justin Simmons got a lot of money to sign a 1-year deal with the Falcons.
Buda Baker got extended.
Yeah, teams are paying their safeties right now. And a guy like Bynum, I don't know, $17.5 million. That just seems a little
somebody
much.
wants to pay that, go for it. But and I don't think safety is really a premium position. And I think the Vikings under Kwesi kind of like value those premium positions. They're willing to pay for a left tackle, a corner, a quarterback, a wide receiver, but positions like, running back, safety, linebacker, those aren't positions that they're willing to invest like a ton of money in, and they think they can probably make it up in the draft or elsewhere. So I don't think he's coming back. And I think, Theo Jackson's a restricted free agent, but I think he'll be back with the Vikings. And there's been a lot of excitement about him the last few years. So I think he might be able to just slide right in there. And if not, there's a couple of free agents that should be cheaper than Bynum that could slide in there too.
Let me start with my first bold prediction then. I think the Vikings are going to sign 2 interior offensive linemen in free agency, and neither will be Trey Smith.
Oh, okay.
I know Minnesotans want this to happen badly. I just wrote an intro for Zone Coverage where a bunch of Viking fans pull up in a van, and one of them's named Sven from St. Cloud, and they throw him in the back of a van, and they bring him to TCO Performance Center, and they chain him to a locker, and they show him film of Drew Samia trying to play guard until he signs. But I think the Vikings have to be smart about this. And I know I understand it. I've been the one screaming, get me a guard all season. I've been screaming, get me a guard
10
since
years.
Yeah, I was about to say since Steve Hutchinson left. And it's like a member berry thing. It's like, oh, I love Steve Hutchinson. He was great. We gave him the poison pill, and like he was a Hall of Famer. And if we do that with Trey Smith, the same thing will happen. I will be over the moon if the Vikings go sign Trey Smith. He's a hell of a player. He's super physical in the trenches. He is very good at his job. But the Vikings may be better off playing a numbers game, because think of all the stuff the Vikings need this offseason. You need a running back, especially if Aaron Jones doesn't come back. You do need a guard. You need a center, though, possibly. You need a defensive tackle. You need a cornerback. You need a kick returner. Probably a punt returner. You might need a punter too. Like, these are all things you need to get, and you only have, 3-4 draft picks to sign all of them. So it might be a situation where it's like Danielle Hunter, where Danielle Hunter's a hell of a player, and he costs you a lot of money too. So you could re-sign that player and keep that player in the fold, or you could let him go. You could take that money and you could allocate it somewhere else. And the Vikings did that by signing Jonathan Grenard, Blake Cashman, and Andrew Van Ginkel on the first day of free agency. Then they turned around and they signed Sam Darnold and Aaron Jones on the second day of free agency. I like those 5 and partially too that Kirk Cousins leaving cleared up some money for some of those moves as well. But I mean, I like the idea of those 5 players against keeping 1 or 2 around for big money salaries. And that's something Kwesi has to decide. It's like, could you plug in Trey Smith? Hell yeah. And have Blake Brandel and Walter Rouse fight for the other left guard spot? Or could you go out and sign, there's 6 guards in the top 50 of Pro Football Focus's free agent ratings right now. There's Smith, there's Will Fries or Freeze, however you pronounce it, Tevin Jenkins, James Daniels, and Mekhi Becton. All are in that mid-20s range that Kwesi likes to target in free agency. And I don't know if you get
Kevin Zeitler too from the Lions. I think he's an option.
I mean, if you get 2 of those guys for $14.5 million, guess what? You still have money to go spend on some of the other. Like, I would rather pay top dollar for DJ Reed from the Jets. Did I say his name right?
Yep.
Okay, my brain's a little mush. DJ Reed from the Jets to be a cover corner shutdown dude than I would Trey Smith. And I know some Viking fans are going to think I'm insane, but that's the way I see things.
Well, it's like, if you go to Walmart or whatever, or Target, because it's, Minnesota Vikings podcast.
Yes.
If you go to Target and you could either get, this big monster truck, remote control monster truck, just one, or you could get, 20 Hot Wheels. But, which one are you going to have more fun with? Like, if you break the monster truck, you're out of luck. If you lose a Hot Wheel or 2, you still got 18 more to play with and have fun with. So, yeah, I like the idea of just spreading out the money more. And I think the Vikings under Kwesi have been very good at spreading out the money, finding guys that maybe cost less this year, but still have some gas left in the tank, looking at Aaron Jones, and finding guys that are maybe on the rise, like a Grenard, like a Van Ginkel, like a Cashman, where they haven't reached their ceiling yet, but they're just about there, and the price you can get them at is one that you need to. And I just think the Vikings pro scouting department is one of the best in the league, and I think them having all this money this year is going to be fun to watch, because I think they're going to do some pretty crazy things, especially if Sam Darnold leaves, which we expect. So, yeah, Do you have like specifics? Is there anyone like? Are there two that you think have the best chance? Or you're just like whatever.
Mekhi Becton is
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
I mean, it's a
Does he
little
want to play
risky.
tackle again? Though?
Yeah, I mean, there's the risk there, and then is he actually as good as, or is he just surrounded by really good
Yeah. With the
offensive
Eagles.
linemen in Philadelphia? Like, people are saying that about here's the thing that sets me off a little bit. Like, we're doing the whole like, well, who are you going to find better than Garrett Bradbury again? Like, we did this the last time we signed him to an extension. Like, I don't know, he could probably get better. And then, like, if we sign him again 2 years from now, it'd be like, God, we should replace him. But geez, there's nobody better. Like, figure it out, dude.
People keep blaming like the people next to him, and it's like he led the league. He led all centers in pressures a lot last year. I think that he's a problem too.
He's too nice. He's too nice. I look at it. I look at his picture, and it's like Leave It to Beaver or something. He should have like the little hat with the little propellers on top. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, I'm Garrett Bradbury. Wow, I just got ran over again.
He's probably at the beach right now. His, flip flops, nice flowery shirt, having a Mai Tai or something. Where Lions offensive linemen are, sitting by the lake, crushing natty lights, and
yes, that's what I need. I need a dude. Give me a
dude from North Dakota State.
Yeah,
was at the Senior Bowl that was
Cody Mock
destroying everybody. No. What's his name? I just wrote about him. Everyone's writing about him because he did amazing at the Senior Bowl. What's his name? Oh man, where is it? No, I can't.
Oh, this year's Senior Bowl you're talking
about.
Yeah. I had a story. I had a story about an offensive lineman. Gray Zabel.
He's been killing it at Senior Bowl.
I'll tell you a story about a offensive lineman I know off the air.
Yeah, but that's what the Vikings need. They need like guys who like put a dip in, and as soon as they wake up in the morning, and just...
we need Dan Campbell, but an offensive lineman.
Yes.
Just listens to Metallica. Just
no more Creed. Get that Creed shit out of here. Okay,
this is weak. We need
at least listen to some like Nickelback or something. Okay?
Yeah. I mean, Nickelback's hard stuff ain't
it is.
bad.
They got some good songs.
Like the pop stuff, like that can get the hell out of here. But
you gotta make money.
You gotta make money.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to my second prediction for this offseason. I think the Vikings will be selecting in this year's NFL draft a running back, not in the not on day 3 with a 4th or 5th round pick. I don't even know if they have any of those actually. But they will select a running back on day 1 or day 2 of this year's draft. So this year's class of running back prospects is one of the deepest position groups in the entire 2025 draft. PFF currently has 9 running backs ranked inside their top 100 prospects. I don't think Ashton Jeanty is going to be available by the time the Vikings make their first pick, but there will still be plenty of talent to choose from after he's assumably off the board. I don't think so. I don't think the Vikings are going to trade up for Ashton Jeanty.
That dude's going to Dallas, isn't he?
Dallas, or I saw the Bears with Ben Johnson might want him.
Yeah. God, that would suck.
Maybe not. The tread. He carried the ball a lot at Boise State the last 2 years, so the tread is not fresh. I do think the Vikings are probably going to bring Aaron Jones back. I think they're at least going to try, and I think he wants to be back. So, which means they'll probably want a running back who's more physical, built to handle the tough yards in the red zone, goal line, short line situations. So to me, I think the Vikings will either end up with North Carolina's Omarion Hampton, who is 6'1", 220, or Iowa's Caleb Johnson, who's 6', 225. Some big guys. So both have shown they can get the tough yards in their careers, but they've also shown the ability to be 3-down backs, catch out of the backfield, all that fun stuff. So, and I think one of them could take over the job as the Vikings' top running back whenever they decide to move on from Jones, or if they don't even re-sign Jones. So those are the guys I think should be on the Vikings' radar.
Can I make a prediction off of your prediction?
Yes.
I think the Vikings draft 2 running backs.
I heard that prediction recently.
I know they only. I'm kind of spoiling my prediction. I won't. I'll try and keep it tucked away. But Travion Henderson out of Ohio State.
Yeah.
I like that dude. He was very highly regarded coming into college.
Was
I
he used
believe
a
a
lot though
5-star.
during his career?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like they also had Quinshon Judkins there because they went and dropped $20 million in the NIL portal. But
they used their free agency money.
they did. Ohio State football spent more than the Minnesota Twins did.
They were like the Yankees last year.
Yes. Yeah. That's college football, man. It's wild.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Minnesota, they're selling frozen pizzas and bad vodka. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation.
Roundabout.
I like this running back class a lot. I do want one of the top names, and I also think they should take another one because Cam Akers has 2 bad Achilles, and Ty Chandler.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude, it's just not working.
No. Well, and
it's almost like somebody called that about a year ago, but I don't know.
I think I think coming out of the draft, they'll have at least 2 running backs. I think they'll definitely add a UDFA because they always do. I feel like, and they're good at finding like good UDFAs, at least under Kwesi. But fire him because he got 1 draft wrong. By the way, just fire him. He sucks at free agency.
If you get anything, you should be fired. Thor Nystrom was wrong about Bo Nix, and he should be fired.
Was he though? It's been 1 year.
Yeah, we'll see how
he's got.
We'll see if Bo Nix improves.
But yeah, like I think the Vikings running back is a position they need to invest in this year, and not because I feel like under Kevin O'Connell, it's kind of been like last year with Aaron Jones is one of the times where I felt like, okay, they realize they need to get serious and not just have Alexander Madison back there just fucking around. So they got Aaron Jones, and that was better. But again, they struggled short yard situations. I think the Vikings were like last in 4th down attempts last year, and not being able to run the ball in short yard situations has a lot to do with that. So yeah, I think they just need to get. Just like the offensive line, they need to get more physical and bulkier and whatever they need to do. Just they need to be able to punch people in the mouth.
Yeah.
So can they do that? I don't know.
We need some badass dude. We need like the new blood. I know they're not called that anymore, but like the new bloodline. Like, we brought in these dudes. They're mean. Like, I can't remember the exact. They're dangerous people. Like. This offensive lineman killed a guy in Pee Wee football, but like he was found innocent.
Who's the dude from Arizona State?
Scatabo?
Yeah. He just seemed.
That dude looks like a Friday Night Lights character. Just like Texas, just crushing up here on a tailgate. Just 18
and I don't
years
know.
Old.
I feel like I'm scarred from. This is probably bad, but like white running backs, like scarred from like Toby Gerhart. Just don't really want anything to do with that.
Say no.
Sorry, dude. It was like Danny Woodhead, like the best white running back.
Yeah, Danny Woodhead.
Well, I guess
Christian
back in the
McCaffrey.
Day. Yeah, all right.
You forgot about him.
And Roger Craig back in the day.
I remember when he came out, Christian McCaffrey, and then they were just like, "Oh yeah, so who do you model your game after? Like Danny Woodhead or what?" He's like, Deuce McAllister,
Well, Danny and Tomlinson.
Nobody wants to be like, Cooper DeJean. They probably looked at him and be like, so Jason Sehorn? No, right. I think I play a little better.
I bet you a lot of those. I bet you said Harrison Smith. No,
that's safeties though. They're like, you're safety, right? No, I'm cornerback 1.
There aren't a lot of white safeties though either. What? Eric Weddle, Harrison Smith.
Was it Brian Russell back in the day?
Yeah. What? Oh, Adam Archuleta. Lover of the Titans.
Yes, big Titans fan. Trying to think. This is an interesting.
This is a good tangent.
This is a very good tangent.
Okay.
Let me move on to my second prediction here before we get into trouble.
Yeah.
My prediction is that the Vikings will double their current amount of picks in the 2025 NFL draft. Right now, the Vikings officially have 3 picks. They have a round 1 pick, 24th overall. They have 2 in round 5. And they're, if you want to get technical, they have a comp pick coming for Kirk Cousins, supposed to be in the 3rd round. So that'll help a little bit. But we just went over all those holes they had in the previous prediction, or at least my previous prediction. And if you're staying up to see who the Vikings are going to pick in round 1 in April, you're probably going to be disappointed because I don't know. Some people think Kwesi got scarred by that 2022 draft because he had the 12th overall pick. He traded down, gave the Lions Jameson Williams, which shit. And he also passed on Kyle Hamilton, which double shit.
Yeah.
But he whiffs on Ed Ingram. He whiffs on Asamoah. I don't care if he's still on the team. It's a whiff. He whiffed on Andrew Booth Jr. And I think people saw last year's draft and they're like, no, he was scared. He didn't want to do the whole thing. Actually, he saw a franchise quarterback he wanted. So that was the cost of doing business. And then a top 10 prospect fell to him in the back half of the teens. He said, all right, I'm trading up to get. So he got 2 blue chip prospects. It wasn't a scared thing. It was more like an opportunity. He took the opportunity and ran with it. Now he doesn't have any picks this year, but if Dallas Turner and JJ McCarthy turn out to what they're supposed to be, who gives a shit, right? Yep. It's like the Rams. They have a banner in SoFi Stadium because they said F them picks. So, and here's the thing. Everybody thought that was a death sentence. The Rams rebuilt that thing.
Yeah.
Like they didn't even have first round pick, and they're like, all right, Byron Young.
They missed the playoffs once.
Right. Yeah, they missed the playoffs 1 year, and then they came back and they were fine.
Yep.
So I don't know. But I think he trades back. I think he doubles up. I think the Vikings wind up with 6 picks, but I don't think, it's not going to be like a Rick Spielman draft where he's making like 10 picks in the 7th round. I think he's going to go for value, and I think he's going to trade his way up and down the board throughout draft weekend. So if you like the draft stories, it's going to be a busy weekend for you. But I get the feeling Kwesi is going to try and acquire plenty of picks come, NFL draft weekend.
Yeah, I think it was Daniel Jeremiah from NFL Network who I think he tweeted recently, like, the best part of this draft is probably like picks 30 through 90. Like, so where you're going to get probably your most value. So yeah, I could definitely see the Vikings trading back to accumulate more picks. I think they'll probably end up with at least 6 because they got 4 right now. Because they got first round, they got the comp pick from Cousins, and then they have 2 5th-round picks, I believe. They do not have the 7th from Jesse. What's his name? Jesse.
It doesn't matter what his name is.
Okay, Rocky.
Jesse Davis.
Yeah,
it's Rumble weekend.
For some reason, the Steelers traded for him, and he didn't play at all, so the Vikings got nothing. But yeah, so they have 4. I'm going to assume they at least get 6. I'll be curious to see, like, if they trade back, if they try and trade back into the end of the first round to get that 5-year, 5th-year option or whatever, because I know a lot of teams like that. So that's interesting to consider. But yeah, and they could get, who knows what they're going to do with some of their players this offseason. They could trade some people. Maybe they do franchise Arnold and get something tag and trade with him. So still plenty of time because they did that trade they made, which they eventually ended up with McCarthy. They traded with the Texans like a month before the draft, right? To get another first round pick.
Yeah, it was like early March.
Yeah.
Because I remember I had Thor on and like I texted him that morning. I'm like, you want to come on the show? And he's like, yeah, 30 minutes. I'm like, okay. Thor's coming on.
Yeah. So they don't really waste any time. Kwesi, I feel like he's definitely not scared of. He likes to trade up more than he does to trade back for sure. And I think feel like Kevin O'Connell kind of like, it's like, chill out. There's some good guys. We can get it. Or like, he's like, I want to get so many picks. It's like, it's okay. Just draft somebody.
It's the equalizer meme.
And with the 2022 draft, like, just one final thing on that. That happened like, what, 6 weeks after he got the job?
Yeah.
He had to work with Ed Donatel as his defensive coordinator. The previous regime's scouting staff, which a lot of people don't realize, like the scouting staff sticks around. They don't just leave when Rick Spielman leaves. They still have jobs through the draft. So he had to work with that. He gets Brian Flores the last 2 years, who's a great talent evaluator. And what do you know? They hit on a lot more picks. So I really don't hold that 22 draft against Kwesi because there's just a lot of factors that people don't mention. They're just like, oh, he got Lewis Seen wrong. It's like a lot of people did because a lot of people thought he was going to be better than he was. And he could have been if he didn't break his leg, maybe, but we'll never know. Now he's on the Eagles. He can get a ring this year.
Do you get a ring if you're? Well, I guess he's inactive. He's not on the practice squad.
No,
so
he's on the roster.
So he's on the roster. So
people in the office get a ring.
This is true.
if you're on the Eagles or Chiefs, if you're a player and you're on the Eagles or Chiefs for a week during the season, you get a ring.
Did you see Zadarius Smith's division championship ring?
Yeah, what is that? I saw he made like a captain chain a couple years ago too after he wasn't named a captain. So Packers fans were having fun with that.
Yeah, I learned that from a Packers fan showing them. They're like, yeah, he's insane. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Now I don't know.
The Lions lost another coach today, so good luck with that. They've lost like 37 coaches this offseason, but they'll be fine.
The culture. It's all about the culture, and
they'll be fine with
Brown's blue hair.
Their new offensive coordinator who had 1 year of being an offensive coordinator before with the Jets, and he got fired by the Jets. So good luck with that.
But he had Josh McCown and I don't know.
He got the most out of Josh McCown. Good for him. Great.
Josh McCown. I mean, hey,
so
maybe Josh McCown taught him something.
Yeah. Right.
Like he's just sitting there, just talking to giving Josh McCown. Actually, we should do this. Oh, that's a good idea.
Hey, but the Vikings, it looks like pretty much all their coaches are coming back except for Udinski's still out there because he's getting interviewed by everybody. He got another one today with Jaguars. So he might be gone, but even if he leaves, I don't think it's a huge loss.
Didn't the Bears hire a 28-year-old offensive coordinator too, or something insane like that? Declan Doyle?
Yeah, from the Broncos.
Yeah. Hang on. I have to look this up.
Which is the most Gen Z name I've ever heard in my life.
28 years old.
Declan Doyle.
Declan Doyle.
It sounds like it sounds like his first name and his middle name. It's like Declan Doyle Johnson.
Jeez. Well, good for. he's doing. I'm 38. I live in the middle of nowhere, so there's that. Yeah, great for him. You know how you could be as successful as Declan. I don't have a good segue for this. Let's talk about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy is the best app for your big game party. Let's just restart. The best app for your big game party is actually on your phone. It's called Underdog. Underdog is the best place to cash in on all of your takes during the big game. Which players are going off and which ones are ice cold. Make your entries in just a few taps. With their pick'em game, you can win up to 1,000 times your money by just choosing higher or lower on your favorite players' stats like yards, touchdowns, and interceptions. They've got all of your favorite teams, leagues, and stars to choose from, and Underdog is the only pick'em platform that puts the power to cash out in your hands. They also have rescues, which means that if a player gets hurt early in a game, you can get your money back and you receive a promo if your early injury causes you to lose. I've been using Underdog for years. Adam has as well. And we're a week away from the big game, but you can get in on the action this weekend. There's a loaded college basketball slate on Saturday. The Timberwolves are heating up, and maybe you want to go higher or lower on some NHL action as well. It's why Underdog is the best place to play pick'em. Download the app, sign up with the promo code THEAGE, which is all one word. Deposit now to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. That's promo code THEAGE, all one word, to get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly. You must be 18 years or older, 19 years or older in Alabama or Nebraska, 19 years or older in Colorado for some games, 21 years or older in Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. void in Colorado for some games. If you are concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. And in New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Quick peek at the comments. Vocal Vike. Little alliteration there. They say, Skull, appreciate all you do, man. Well, thank you. Appreciate you for listening, watching, however you consume, and dropping a comment to help us out.
Real quick, did you see the clip of Darnold doing the passing drill last night at the Pro Bowl games?
Yeah, there was Kirk Cousins energy.
He was firing, and people were not happy that he was doing so well, but he didn't do that well in the playoffs. Everyone's like, where is this in the playoffs?
Yeah, well, there wasn't a free run. Jared Verse wasn't hitting a tsunami on his ass during the drill.
It's
Jared Verse!
Super fly.
Ghosts!
No swanton bombs.
Man.
That's what they should have. They should have like Jeff Hardy jumping off like a box or whatever on the quarterbacks to just throw them off.
I've said it for years. What they should do at the combine is these passing drills, look at how accurate it is. Okay, now we're going to bring in one of the defensive linemen. He's going to go full speed and see how he can throw. Let's see what you can do with a couple broken ribs.
The thing I like about the Senior Bowl is that they wear full pads and helmets, and then they go to the combine. It's like they're wearing nothing. I'm like, what's the point of this?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even Darnold too, the throw, just they're like, look so effortless. Yeah. Because it's
he's wearing
he doesn't, he's just like, all right, 4, 5.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins threw the ball like that too, but it was usually a check down on 4th down.
Probably got a little loose with a few, vodka sodas or something too before, but
maybe Justin Jefferson had a bad time too during that. I'm not concerned. I don't want to say. I mean, the drill was ridiculous. They had these gloves without the
Mickey Mouse
stickum,
glove.
and he's like, "Oh man!" And then he had to use the big mascot hands. Yeah. He's like, and then they have him do, which is the dumbest thing ever. They have him do a diving catch.
I saw that. Yeah.
And
but the guy missed.
Star wide receiver. I'm just like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. It's in my contract not to dive during the offseason.
Right. That would be our luck. Justin Jefferson goes all out and I mean, there is if you haven't seen the video, there is a big crash pad. So he's not diving on, actual turf or whatever.
It's
but it would be our luck if he just dove and broke his collarbone or something and oh, well.
It's like that Patriots player a long time ago. I want to say his name was Robert Edwards.
Yes.
He got hurt in a flag football.
It was a beach football game.
Tore his ACL.
He teddied his knee in a beach football game and never played again. Man.
That's why Drake May is in the Pro Bowl games this year, because everyone else was like, no, thank you.
And even now it's just a flag football game. Mm-hmm. It's just, grab the flag. Instead of watching the Pro Bowl this weekend, I'm going to be watching wrestling because Royal Rumble weekend is here. As you know, we're wrestling fans. We love. I was talking with our good friend Nick Marty, who comes on the show from time to time, and I said to him, I'm like, I think I get more excited for Royal Rumble than I do for Christmas. The anticipate, right now, I'm just who's gonna be in the match? Who's coming in? Who's gonna be there the longest?
Is it the Thanksgiving of WrestleMania?
It's it's the opening day of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So I said this with Nick. It's like baseball season. Opening day, super excited, but then you get to the world and you're like, okay.
Then it's May 5th, and you're like, geez, you still have 150 games to go.
I was talking about hitting up a Diamondbacks game this spring, but yeah. I've been to that stadium before for the Royal Rumble, actually.
Oh yeah, so, there you go. See, tied it all together.
I got my chairs to the right here. I'm not gonna pick. It'd be so awkward getting them over here. I don't know. Maybe I will eventually, but I've talked with Declan Goff. I've talked about it with Nick Marty. I haven't talked about it with you though.
No.
So Royal Rumble predictions. I got a couple of categories for you. I want to drop them. And this is one of my favorite from Declan. Who will be the longest competitor in the Royal Rumble match? You can go men's, women's, throw it out there. It's all good. I don't know what's going to happen in the women's, but it'll be fun.
I mean, I think Seth Rollins is going to be the favorite for that category. Because he just seems like the guy. I'll go Sami Zayn.
Okay.
Sami Zayn. I think he's getting some steam there of him potentially getting a push, whether he wins this or not. And it seems like he might be turning soon. That's he's kicking people in the face on accident. So we'll see with Sammy. Because he was I don't know if you heard, he was a WrestleMania main eventer 2 years ago. So he's made that very, very clear. On the women's side, Naomi? Go Naomi?
There's only 10 women declared for the match, so it's very hard.
It's going to be like old, not old, but like wrestlers who haven't been there in a while, and then NXT people, like it usually is. Maybe it could be. I guess it could be TNA people too this year because they got that connection.
Yep.
So is Joe Hendry going to last? No, it could. I guess.
He could be a guy that shows up and just gets tossed immediately.
Santina going to be in the Rumble this year?
I hope not. Like I don't know. Like women's, like I said, it's really hard with like Ted.
I think that the women's Royal Rumble is more entertaining because of all like the surprises they have.
Correct. Yeah, and I mean, I think there's going to be. I mean, the NXT, the women's division in NXT is absolutely loaded right now. I mean, there's a lot of girls in there who could come into the Rumble and have that breakout performance we were talking about. Like I said, I'm sticking with my picks for the men. I'm sticking with Dom Mysterio for the Iron Man. Although it seems like they're not going to do him and Balor at me, but maybe him and Penta because they had a.
I think Balor might be hurt.
Is he legit hurt?
Well, because didn't didn't Dom and the other dude with the big head, didn't they challenge for the tag titles? Why wouldn't Finn Balor do that?
Because he was destroyed by Damian Priest.
Oh yeah, that too. Okay.
I mean, kayfabe.
Not enough because I think he was at the Knicks game the other night too.
Yeah, Finn was chilling courtside at the Knicks game behind Tom Thibodeau.
Well, JD McDonough was cracking his ribs and exploding his lungs,
smacking his skull against the reinforced announce table.
Jesus
like
Christ!
Oh, that looked brutal. For listeners who do not speak wrestling, JD McDonough did a moonsault to the outside, and his head whiplashed back into this giant announce table that Netflix paid for, and it was painful. It looked very.
It would have broken in the olden days, but not anymore.
Yeah, the wind would have knocked it over, just like like a Jenga tower or whatever. What do you think will be the biggest surprise in the men's Rumble match?
In the men's, I don't think Roman Reigns is going to win. Is that a huge surprise?
I don't think so because it's wide open.
Yeah, like why do I think Cena's going to win? Right? I don't know if he wants. I don't know if Cena would want to win. Like a lot of older guys want to like put people over when they leave. So I don't know because he's gonna have a match at WrestleMania regardless. It's not like he needs it. Yeah, I don't think Roman Reigns is gonna win.
Okay, that's solid enough. I think we get 3 TNA people. I think we get Joe Henry's a lock. I think we get Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
And I think we get Matt Cardona.
Yeah, I've seen that floating around there. Chelsea Green's husband.
You think? I'm trying to.
Is he going to be
Nick Nemeth is Dolph Ziggler, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get his name right, but
is Matt Cardona going to be Matt Cardona, or is he going to be Zack Ryder?
He said he wants to be Matt Cardona if he ever comes back.
He should be because he
should.
It's like Cody Rhodes, like doing American Nightmare stuff. He should be able to do that. If Vince McMahon was still in charge, Well,
There's
one,
Zack
I
Ryder.
don't even think he would.
Zack
come back.
Ryder, and he'd be a tag team guy.
Yeah, immediately. He'd be
Welcome to
doing
main events, buddy.
He'd be doing the speed championship immediately.
Yeah. Do they still have that?
Yeah, it's on
It's
Twitter
still
or
a thing.
whatever.
That's lasting longer than I thought it would. How about the women's rumble? What surprises do you think will happen there?
I think Nikki Bella will be back.
Okay.
I think she'll be back. It's a lot of AJ Lee chatter.
Yeah.
A lot of AJ Lee chatter.
Is it like just fan driven, or
is it
I know
Punk
Punk's
trolling?
Yeah.
He's trolling. He likes to do that.
He was on McAfee today, and they're like,
he said,
it's only
an
hour from Chicago.
Yeah. She's got to watch the dog. It's like, okay, you can't leave your dog at home.
Maybe she'll bring Larry. Maybe Larry will enter the Royal Rumble.
I think there's going to be a lot of surprises in the women's. I think Jordan Grace is going to be in there. Not that's a surprise because she's signed with WWE already. Does she? Do you think she goes NXT or does she go main roster? I think she's got to go main roster, right?
I feel like people. I guess what would she? NXT's so loaded right now, where it's just like I don't know where she would fit in. Like at this point, but maybe they do just go over.
Is Charlotte Flair going to piss everyone off and win?
I don't think Charlotte wins.
No, I don't think so either.
I think Becky comes back.
Yeah, I forgot it. I keep forgetting about her.
I don't think she'll win though. No. I feel like Charlotte's like the chalk, but
Jade Cargill's probably going to be coming back too, right?
Yes. Yeah, I'm very excited to see Jade come back from injury,
come back
from death, and kick someone in the face. Funny story, last year at the Rumble, her big debut, everybody was waiting for it. I was in the bathroom. I heard the music go off. I'm like, God damn it. So I ran out there, and Jade was in the ring.
Where was it last year?
Tampa.
Oh, Tampa. That's right.
Tampa, yeah. My wrestling friend Jelly Roll was 5 rows ahead of me.
Jelly Roll.
So that's it. My buddy's like, who's Jelly Roll? I'm like, oh, he's like a musician. Like there's a big ass like bodyguard surrounding him. And then Jelly Roll is a very large man too. So like
I think he's lost a bunch of weight though.
Yes.
He's more like a low carb Jelly Roll right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had a nice choke slam in WrestleMania. I know he was helped out a lot by Austin Theory, but
Austin Theory sold that thing like the rent was due. Like jump to the moon. All right. Let's close this out. Who's winning the Rumble? I mean, you said Roman Reigns isn't going to win it. You said maybe Cena. I don't know. We're jumping around, but whatever.
I think it's going to be Punk. I think it's going to be Punk and Cody at WrestleMania.
No love for The Rock?
I think he realized like he wants to stay in the background. Like he did his thing last year. I think that was his big hurrah. Maybe. I don't know, but I just don't. When he came out on Netflix and it was all like corporate, like literally corporate rock, I think that kind of like threw everybody off.
And could that be just throwing off the
It could be. But
could he come out at 30 and eliminate Roman Reigns?
I was going to say that he could do that and set that up, like because those who they don't need the title. You got to think of like that's why I say Punk because like not that he needs the title, but like usually the Royal Rumble winner is someone who they feel like either needs to take the title from whoever has the title because it's not going well, or they want to give them a push and make them the face of the company, which would be hilarious if CM Punk turned into like the face of WWE after everything that happened with AEW.
Let's fantasy because Paul Heyman, or as my mom calls him, Slimeball, owes him a favor. Could Punk win the Rumble, be good guy going into WrestleMania, main event night 2, CM Punk against Cody Rhodes. Paul Heyman helps Punk win the title.
Yeah. And
then he goes heel.
Yeah. It could happen. Punk's a good heel, so it could happen for sure.
I feel like he's a better heel than a face, but
yeah,
whatever. I mean, it would be fun. So.
And then on the women's side, I don't want Liv Morgan to win. I don't need that storyline anymore with Rhea. And Tiffany's already got the title. Would it be crazy if Jordan Grace won?
It'd be unexpected.
But I feel like her versus like Rhea Ripley would be awesome at WrestleMania.
It'd be a lot of fun.
I'll go with that. I'll go with Jordan Grace.
Could Bianca win?
I don't think so. I think she's going to do something with Jade, probably. I think she's the one who's going to be doing something with Jade.
I don't think they would turn her heel. So, like, whoever, like, if Jade shows up, she's going to jump the person who jumped her.
Yeah.
Like, that's how this. So, like, if she jumps Bianca, like, is Bianca the heel then? Or is Jade the heel? I guess that would be, I don't know. Like, I feel like Charlotte's going to win.
Yeah, I just feel like it would be a letdown if it was Naomi who was like, I did it.
Yeah.
Not that Naomi's not good, but just like.
Maybe AJ Lee wins it.
I don't think so.
That'd be crazy. AJ Lee and Becky probably are the two, but I don't think Becky wins it.
No.
I don't think.
Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised. Would they have
Becky Rhea too?
Yeah, maybe. Like, they could do it.
Sure.
I think sometimes they like to have, like, because they're going to have Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to be one. And that's the less experienced. I feel like sometimes they like to have, like, one title be the more established people doing it, and then the other title being like, okay.
Which is why I'm kind of wondering if they do Bianca Rhea at Mania.
Right. Yeah, they could.
That would be an interesting.
What did I say? Jordan Grace? Yeah, I'll stick with that. I don't care.
I'll leave you with this. This is the last Royal Rumble related story I'll share. But what was it? 2016. What year did AJ Styles debut? 2016, something like that. My friend Blake, I got together with him. He lived about 30 minutes away, so I would go to his house, watch pay-per-views, drink beer, super fun. So going into the Rumble, I said, hey, there's this guy named AJ Styles. People like would be like, it'd be cool if he showed up in WWE, and there's a big rumor that he signed. And he finally like says to me, he goes, Chris, nobody knows who he is. So like, it's the first guy in the Royal Rumble. I think it was the one where the WWE title was on the line and Triple H won because he came in at the end. But Roman tosses Rusev or whoever the first guy was. And then the horn goes off and AJ Styles comes out and the place just goes nuts. And I look at my friend and I go, nobody knows who he is. Huh?
It's a Rumble crowd. It's like it. Yeah. It's very similar to the WrestleMania crowd. Where like it's not a bunch of people from like, I don't know, Topeka, Kansas, just like going to see a wrestling show.
Jordan Grace got a pop last year. Like my buddy didn't know that was a legit. Hey, who is that? And I'm like, oh, she's from TNA. Like I've never seen her wrestle, but I think it's awesome that a TNA person is in the Rumble right now. Like that's insane. And then little did we know they'd partner up.
I'm trying to think like what my favorite Rumble moment is.
John Cena returning at 07.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
John
Edge
Cena,
coming back too.
That's probably it.
That was a true holy shit moment.
Expected that.
Yeah.
And underrated is John Cena and Batista tying and Vince McMahon tearing both his quads.
Yes. What was the first Royal Rumble you ever watched?
I don't know. My dad back in the day would record them on like VHS. Like, I don't know, like 92. Yeah. But I don't remember any of that. Right. Maybe 04 with that guy we don't talk about who won. Really good theme, but
yes, it's unfortunate it's associated with him because that song's awesome. The first one that I ordered, 1999. My buddies, they were into WWE and I was a WCW guy because like Goldberg and Sting and that was my first exposure to pro wrestling. So 1999 rolls around, my friends are like, hey, Royal Rumble, like our parents won't let us order it. Well, your parents and my parents were like, sure. And that pay-per-view was like, if you've ever seen Beyond the Mat, it was the Rock Mankind I Quit match where the Rock like hit him in the head with a chair like 47 times
like
before.
Match.
Yeah. So that was it. And then Austin and McMahon were 1 and 2. And it was just the most batshit crazy Rumble you could think of. So
Vince McMahon win that?
Vince did win that.
Yeah,
because it was Austin. So like Austin, he comes in, it's 1 and 2. So like Austin obviously just beats the shit out of Vince for like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
and he goes,
ring, right?
okay, I'm gonna throw him over the rope now. And then like the next guy comes in who is like the Cartman dude. I can't remember his name, but like he comes in and he beats it, and then Vince goes under the bottom rope. He goes all the way up there, and like Austin could just be in there and like just try and toss everybody out. He goes into the crowd, up the stairs to chase Vince. And then he goes into the bathroom where like 8 people are waiting with him because he's a moron. So they beat the hell out of him. Austin leaves on a stretcher. Vince goes back down to the Rumble to the commentary table. Then midway through, woo, here's Austin in the ambulance, goes back in, throws everybody out. So it's Vince and Austin at the end. And then at the very end, The Rock comes out and he screws Austin over and Vince wins and blah, 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 blah. It's quite a trip if you go back and watch it. But
I can tell you who won't be at the Rumble on Saturday.
Was it the guy we're not mentioning?
Vince McMahon won't be there.
Vince McMahon, yes.
He will not be there.
It's probably a good thing.
He won't be there.
What's going on at the Viking Age? I know you're all over the place now, but what you got?
Still running it. Still running the Viking Age, regardless of what else I'm doing. What's going on? So we got just finished up the Senior Bowl stuff, so probably have a mock draft coming out soon. I guess we'll keep an eye on anything that happens at the Pro Bowl games. But next week is Media Row at the Super Bowl. So there will be a lot of interviews, a lot of people pushing products. So there will be probably a bunch of content leading up to the Super Bowl. And then after that, it's like, I think 2 or 3 weeks after the Super Bowl is the Combine. Like, and shortly after that, it's free agency. So, like, we're going to be in the thick of things pretty quickly. And I think the franchise tag start day, like the first day the Vikings can place it on Sam Darnold, if they choose to do that, is February 18th. So we will know more getting close to that date if they want to do that, which I don't think they will. But you never know. Mike Florio might say that they're gonna, because they're gonna ruin their franchise if they don't franchise tag Sam Darnold.
26 trade destinations for Sam Darnold coming up at Pro Football Talk right now.
One last Royal Rumble thing. I think Trick Williams is gonna be in there and put on a good show.
Oh yes,
former Eagle Trick Williams.
Just give me the chant.
Yeah.
Just with 64,000 people just losing their mind.
Oh, is Bad Bunny going to be in it and set up something with Logan Paul?
That would be awesome. You know what? I'm all for it. If they do Bad Bunny against Logan Paul at Mania, I'd be excited for that because
that would be really good.
Because they both give a shit.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see how it turned out.
Bad Bunny was on like Hot Ones, and he was like, yeah, you're one of like the best celebrity wrestlers. He's like, what? No, I am the best celebrity wrestler, and he's not lying. He is.
No.
So yeah, go check out thevikingage.com and follow me, Adam Patrick NFL, on Threads and Blue Sky and Instagram.
Well, you can follow me at The Real Chris Schad. We are the Viking Age podcast. We do this every Monday with a late week episode right here on the Viking Age YouTube channel. We're also in podcast form on Apple and Spotify the very next day, but however you consume us, make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe so you never miss a new episode and we can spread the word to the masses. For Adam Patrick, I am Chris Schad. This has been the Viking Age podcast.